This audio program is presented by Audible.com. Audible. Audio that speaks to you wherever you are.
Now here's a conversation I had with David Crosby in San Francisco on a Sunday afternoon. I know it sounds like a song, but there's a lot more. Well, we're rolling now, actually. We're rolling as we speak. David Crosby, does anyone ever come up to you and just say, I love your dad, Bing. This is great. Or your Uncle Norm.
They've done it. They've said those exact things. They've actually come up and said, aren't you related to Bill Cosby?
And then you don't have the heart to say,
I don't.
Madam?
The funniest ones when they come up is because we never sat in the right order. And they come up, the picture's in the wrong order on the first album, right? So they come up to me and they say, Stills, I just love your music. I just love it. And I say, thanks, man. Thank you very much.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Sweet You Do Blue. I wrote it. I love it. You know who gave me the best lesson in grace under fire and that kind of thing? Was Bing Crosby. Oddly enough. Funny that you should mention.
Well, what's talking about now? Just tell a little story for me, Dave.
Wait a minute. Let me...
Before I bang you on the backside, I want to hear a little bit about that one.
Let me reach back.
Talk to me,
Is that a promise? I'll reach back now to yesteryear.
There's a thing with a little song for you.
I was in the first class compartment of an airplane back when PSA used to run up and down California. And I was, or maybe it was United because it had first class. And it was... it was back in early 70s, and I was in full flower.
Nuts?
Yeah. Blitzed, red-eyed, knee walking.
Can I turn the oxygen now?
Yeah, please.
We haven't had a loss of cabin pressure. I
have! Fringe everywhere, like in full and slit-eyed stoned. And I'm sitting there, and there's it's all three-piece suits, the entire rest of the compartment, and they're all looking at me saying, how do you get in here? And then they're holding the plane, and I can't figure out why. And then in the door comes Bing Crosby. And they were holding the plane for. And he sits down, and he looks around, and the place goes crazy. And they're all waiting for Bob Hope to pop out of the men's room and do
Road to crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're on our way to Toledo. It's wild.
Gonna do the Road to Mandalay now.
And who's that with that? Oh, my God, it's Katie D.
They were nuts. And they... When I finally saw one of these three-piece jokers bring a can of the Buellton, the split-piece soup, Anderson's, right, up to him and say, would you sign this? And he, without blinking, said, no problem, and signed his name on the soup can and gave it back to the guy. I went, I got something to learn here. There's something more, because I would have freaked. I could not have made fun of the guy. And he didn't blink. He didn't bat an eye.
I certainly have love and privilege now. Just come over and say it a little bit better.
He was good.
So I put it to Trudy Ann Dennis. That's a beautiful thing.
He was good. He was graceful.
Yeah, I think you have to be. I think most people, unless people are just so hammered, that's the only time I've ever had people...
Oh, yeah, then they're
come here, kiss my dog! They put you in a headlock going, you kiss my wife! Too big for you, Mr. Movie won't kiss my dog!
I worked a lot of bars like you did. And I've lived with I've been through that and working in bars with drunks for 5 years. You can't not. It's part of the dues that anybody who's a performer has to do. You have to work in little places where they're drunk. If of all of the things all the mistakes that I ever made, truckloads of mistakes, that's the one I'm really glad I never became like a drooling drunk.
Oh, the hardcore.
So it's just so low, it's so.
And you end up just going, what time is it? 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm just need a little something to start the day, my friend.
Just a little something perk me up.
I need, it's just a little, hair of the dog or tail or balls, anything. Just get me going here.
We had that whole conversation.
Give me just something you know what I need? Oh, God. What's that? Oh, wait a minute, what's that? Can you tell them to just stop letting the paint dry for a moment? That's really loud.
Yeah, and the ringing noise. You got to stop
that ringing noise. There's a goddamn answering machine in my ass, too. I hate that. That thing all of a sudden. Oh, Jesus. Hey, listen to me. Listen to me. Oh, God. What's your name again? That's what I love.
Bing.
Oh, God. Let me sign the soup can, little missy. Don't be afraid. Yeah, it's crazy, I'll tell you. There I was on the flight, right? Wouldn't it be great if Bing leaned over and said, you wouldn't have a little a Papa Sense of me on you right now.
You know what he did lean over? He came over, and this is the funny part of the story.
Big fan.
He did. He came over. There was only one empty seat in the whole thing, which was, of course, next to me. Because none of these people wanted to get anywhere near me. Came over to me, and he sat down next to me, and he leaned over and he went, "The rest of these people don't know who you are, but I do." And he said, "I really like your music. It's not just because of the name."
It's amazing. You know, every so often I like to just light up a bong, sit down, and just listen to it carefully back. I like to play Teach the Children Well.
He was pretty groovy.
Our house is that would be great. The Crosby tapes of him singing. Our house is a very, very, very fine house.
Yeah.
2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard.
He had a great, I mean, I don't know what kind of guy he was. It's the only time I ever encountered him, but it was good to watch him, how he was with people.
It's a decent thing to treat people that way. You see people very patient, and that's what Springsteen said to me. That he said basically, you got to realize that people, if they come up to you, have had to get up to the courage to say, hi, how are you, and you got to respect that. And and if, like you said, if they're fumbling or if they're afraid, and you just kind of say, be patient, because it took a lot to get to that point to come up and say, could you do this? Especially like a little kid.
And also, they're tremendously vulnerable right then.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with that.
You come on snotty just a little bit, and they'll hold that. It will hurt them for years. That. Well, I mean, they could also piss them off, and that's less honorable. But if you just hurt them, just because you're being snotty, that's really not cool.
That works, and that seems to have.
It works, and I don't have to be nasty. And I am such a delayed. I'm like what do you call it? An Arrested Development kid. Like I spent all of this time, in the closet with this little hissing thing and a pipe, going. I think there's people outside. They're out there. I know they're out there. I know. Look,
the hissing thing. For those of you playing the home game, the hissing thing is not a snake. We are talking about the Columbian College Fund. We are talking about the graduates of the Deep Peruvian Line School of Dancing.
Yes, this is melted marching powder,
Melted marching powder, folks, as we call it. The old baseline, bottom line, hello, Daddy, I've got no more assets. We're talking about going down the devil's highway with the devil's dandruff.
Yes.
Oh, the days, oh, dear God, we've been...
Paranoia power.
Yeah.
and so, I'm kind of like an Arrested Development kid, and I'm like just figuring stuff out. And here I am, I'm like 50 years old.
Forget lost weekend, lost decade.
Yeah, really.
It's like,
Did it happen between 75 and 85? I don't
remember.
I don't know anything about it.
All I remember is this.
Dave, you remember?
Oh, no!
Yeah, Dave, you remember?
Room service? No, man, it's not room service. Put the food under the door.
Yeah.
I can't do it, sir. It's just a big plate. Put the food under the door, piece by piece.
Squitch it through.
Okay, here comes your sandwich. Here comes the bacon, sir. Yeah, bacon. That's what you call it.
Yeah. Oh, man. It was,
We've been there.
Yeah.
You and I both have been to the edge and returned. Great White Father, you have seen all and many things. You were away for a while.
Yeah.
It was that time. I remember. Well, we kind of remember.
Kind of. But if it was between 75 and 85, I don't remember. It's like, it's like blank.
Yeah, but
piece of blank tape there.
But they're kind of like you go, oh, did I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I take a dump in your tuba? Yeah. Did I really try and fuck your cat? Yeah, you did. And,
and my wife.
Yeah, and anything else. And
both of my grown daughters. And
you tried to cup a feel on the sofa. I remember you woke up and you're going, come on, this will be easy. And you realized it was a lazy boy recliner. Yeah. What did I do? Really? Did I do that?
Yep. I did a lot of did I do that.
Oh, yeah. It's like when you come back, did I really do that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you can either let that shit destroy you, or you can, figure out how you got to there and, then set that down. It was also the illusion you think that you had to do that because that was part of the life, that you had to live that way in order to be, I thought I had to do it in order, when I started out, I thought I had to do it because it was hooked up with the creativity. Mm-hmm. I thought, when I started doing acid and smoking reefer, I thought, now I will really write the weird shit. And then when you go back and read what you wrote, yeah. Yeah, well, there is that, but that got worse. When I started doing coke, I would write stuff that I would look at in the morning, and some other person wrote this shit.
It was like, who was here during the night? A friend.
Yeah, monkeys with typewriters.
Yeah,
I mean, it was other languages. Other languages.
It was.
Seriously not.
But at the time, you're going, oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah. I've solved the problem.
Oh, I finally did it. I've written a novel, but also a song.
Yeah.
It's a song and a novel
And a screenplay.
And a screenplay. And a formula to cure what?
Something.
Yes. It'll do everything at once. Don't you see that?
It writes underwater.
Yes. Solves your problems. Solves your problems. Does everything you know.
It was.
Oh, God. Yeah, and then that would be the greatest anti-drug commercial of all, is just to say, and we now would like to read to you the cocaine transcripts.
Really?
Frog dancing, you big dog. No, you. Wow. Nixon. Do it. Behind me. Yeah.
There, to the left of the tree.
To the left, to the tree.
No, do you hear him? I can hear him. Oh, my friend had the best line of all, man. He said, you know, the damnedest thing happened when I stopped doing cocaine, all the ninjas left my yard.
Who are you? I am a coke ninja. I come and I hang outside your window, even if you live on 50th floor. I am waiting for you.
I am waiting.
I
am
play,
watching.
In your closet when you think you're alone, writing your bad poetry. I am listening.
I am not nice.
I am the one that also takes away the power of your penis.
Yes.
I am there. I hit you with the dot, the numbing dot to your testicles, and make your penis turn into tiny mushroom that you'll never find again.
Really? Do you remember that? Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
I don't know what happened. I could have been somebody, Charlie.
It give us the inspiration and it taketh away the ability.
It is gone, my friend. Yeah, you're awake going, at last I can do anything, but it's assault with a dead weapon.
It was so bad.
I'm going in.
Yeah, well, people wondered why Freud thought that everything was driven by sex.
Well, because
he was doing coke.
Yes. That was his basic theory that, he came up with the idea that, penis envy, and your mother wants your penis, and is going.
All that stuff.
Everybody wants your penis.
You know how he got?
He couldn't find his.
I'm sure he gave a little to the people, and that's how he got them to really talk.
What? Freudian coke sessions?
Yes. I bet
They're
you.
lying on the couch going, yeah, you know what?
I really actually, this time I feel like talking, doctor.
Yeah. And, yeah, I am a rat.
And yes, I do think about sex all the time.
All the time. Right now.
Especially when I come to here and you give me the white powder. I think a lot about sex then.
I think about sex and
Can I hump the wall here?
And the cat and the dog.
Let me hump your leg, please.
What are you doing? Nothing. It's all about all the deep problems in the psyche and the id and the paranoia.
I'm betting it was the powder, man. I'm betting he had it.
Because he did enough to kill a small horse, because he had, supposedly he started doing it because of, his cancer. He had like it wasn't just a nasal infection. What are you doing? Doctor, I'm really not feeling so well. How about a gram?
Yeah. Well, they had
get me through a couple of sessions.
This is not to say, folks, that this is all Robin and I ever did.
No.
We did other things. There were girls.
There were girls.
There were girls.
There were girls.
There were times.
Parking the boat,
yeah.
The beautiful, what was the name of your boat?
The Mayan. We did park the boat right in front of the Trident, and Robin
playing
saw.
The home game. The Trident was a very organic restaurant in Sausalito, California. And the only requirement to kind of work there was to have a very free and easy attitude, and for women just to be knock you on your ass beautiful.
Yeah. And we used to hit on them like sharks on sheep. Mm-hmm. It wasn't pretty. It was not a pretty thing.
Noise. That's a shark with a hairball. It's like called Maud. What? Dun, 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 dun.
Funny stuff.
But there's also there's some wild stuff of, when we come out of it, you remember also, that there were a few things you kept from it, like you said, friends, that we.
Friends are pearl beyond price, man.
Yes, sir.
Anybody that has. Really come to the edge of things, treasures their friends. That was part of it sounds too dramatic to say it, but part of nearly dying was finding out that time was absolutely the most important thing of all, was the final currency, was the crucial element. and that your friends and your family were all that mattered practically in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That all the rest of the stuff that you thought was important really didn't matter squat. You know, Grammys and Oscars and, you know, parties and money and cars and fast this and go there and be at the special. Nothing. Didn't matter squat. Having time. Being able to have another minute.
Yeah, because at that point it was like... You know,
down to...
know. It was down to minutes because of the waiting for the transplant.
And you know what? I saw that and then I recognized something that I had seen. I used to see that same look in guys that came back from Vietnam. You'd see them. They'd have this look on their face of, you know, bliss from being alive. You know, maybe that alternated with periods of, oh my God, look what I went through.
But when you found out, when you all of a sudden you had the transplant, that was it. That was the...
Very close.
Yeah, it was down to days, or wasn't it weeks?
They didn't tell me that, but yeah, I found out afterwards. I'm watching VH1, right, and there's this thing, and they're interviewing the doctor, and he's saying, oh yeah, David was within a few days of dying. And I'm going,
of total kidney failure.
Liver, yeah, but yeah, total. I don't get it, because obviously I've been a scoundrel and a complete nincompoop, and stuff. They must just have more work for me to do here. That's the only thing I can come to. Not to be too sappy about it. It's either that or God has a really, really mean sense of humor and he's setting me up for a big one.
Where's he going to go? What's that? Hey, give it to him.
Guess what, Dave? You're going back to prison. We made a mistake.
Hey, David, remember me?
Yeah. You weren't supposed to get out. Come on.
Come on home now.
Yeah.
You got a whole wing here. This is a dialysis wing. Come on in.
Come on in. You're going to love it here.
It's pretty enough. It's an amazing thing because all of a sudden we were, you were waiting, and it's like you're on it's a waiting list, right? You have and it's the next donor appears, and
it's such a weird whole thing. There's so many things about it that are so science fiction. The idea, just of having another person's organ in your body in the first place, although it's never bothered me, I'm really grateful, But there are weirdnesses about it. Like, if you have insurance, you live. If you don't, you die. Weird. The operation costs too much. It costs like $300,000 or something. So it doesn't happen pro bono. It's like...
Well, there's no... Well, you don't want to go to Sears to get that operation.
No, I know.
Yeah, get your eyes and your liver.
Yeah, or a socialized medicine country. It's not probably a good idea.
Yeah. Your first time here for the liver.
For the liver, sure. We got a cat liver, we got a dog liver.
Chicken liver.
We got a chicken liver.
We can put 50 chicken livers in this.
Much less stitches with the chicken liver.
Yeah, this is a tiny thing. You can only, you piss really once every 2 seconds. You'll be urinating like a lawn boy. But it's okay.
That part's weird, and then also, that people have this weird atavistic sort of kind of thing, I must be buried with all my parts, or some kind of odd religious stuff, or some kind of fear about it, which is bullshit. Because
maybe it's almost, goes back to almost like you think the ancient cultures, like in Egypt, where it was like...
Yeah, you had to be buried.
If I go to the afterlife without
I'm taking my slaves, what will I do? My car, my cart, my
car, my colon, everything. Everything goes with me.
Yes, build a big place. I think I'll make it pyramid shaped. But they're wrong. When the spirit's gone, spirit's gone. Spirit's the only thing that counts. The rest of it's a meat suit.
Mm-hmm.
It's parts. If you can save somebody's life, or somebody's sight, or a child's life, for God's sakes,
mm-hmm.
and you don't, you're fucking weird. That's just too weird for me.
Give up the parts, my son. Yeah.
Well, because, when the spirit goes, man, it's ashes to ashes. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Game over. The spirit goes on and does whatever you believe spirits do. I think they come around again. And so nobody knows, so I can believe anything I want. But people die every day because there's no organs. And here's a funny sidebar. Do you know when it really got bad here? It was after they passed the helmet law. They passed the helmet law, and all of a sudden there were half as many donors, because that's where we were getting them.
Well, young guys Gary Busey online too.
Young guys in
where the hell did I wear?
Young guys and
Sorry.
young guys and
What do you mean, use the wand? Take out your keys. It's not my keys.
It's my hat.
Yeah. Put the magnet down, miss.
Please don't.
Whoa. Things are flying. What happened to the spoon? Ow. Whoa. What's all that stuff sticking to Gary's head? You idiot. You put a magnetic plate in his head. Don't do that. He'll never know. He can never use a compass. Don't do that. I'm sorry, but when they passed the helmet law, that basically dropped the donor.
Dropped it completely in half. And in states where they don't have one, you can get a transplant 3 times as easy.
Jeez.
And so the helmet law obviously worked. So,
good news, bad news.
Yeah, good news, bad news. It works, and it's really not a good idea. But I mean, it is for, I don't know. Anyway, the thing for me is that I know that people, die all the time because they don't get an organ in time. I was there. I watched them die. Children die. Okay, adults have had a life. No child should die. No child should die. This is never right. I mean, they just at the beginning. They just and it should never happen. Somehow, if you gave me a magic wand, that'd be my first one. Okay, all dogs go to heaven. No child should die.
Do you think that in the next, maybe like what we're talking about, 10 to 15 years, they will be able to create, obviously, but they're just about in the next 5 to 10 to totally map the human genome that they could create? I mean, from scratch, like what they're doing now. I mean, they've done that thing where they've either combined using pig skin and then, and somehow grafting it, and it works as well as human skin. But then in the end, you realize, what am I doing with these stitches here? I'm a football. But, that other thing of...
Pigs, humans, and bears are very closely related. All of us, we're very close, and simians. Mm-hmm. We're all very closely related in different ways. But no, I don't think that's the trick. We already know the trick. Women know the trick.
Which is?
Which is, the biggest problem with transplants is that it has a different DNA code.
Right.
And so your immune system, your white cells, your leukocytes, your T cells, try to attack it and reject it. They think it's an old shoe that got left in there that night the guys with the knives came through.
We know who used to work here.
Yeah. And you're not it. Yeah. And they want to throw it out. So you have to suppress the immune system.
Please.
Yeah, that's it.
Open the artery door, Hal.
You don't have the password. They know the DNA code, and it isn't the right one, and they want to throw it out. So we have to suppress the immune systems, and you're
totally vulnerable to everything.
Very vulnerable, and it's pretty serious medicine, and you got to take over the rest of your life. So a whole lot of complications. But in a woman, when she's pregnant, the fetus has a different DNA code, and the woman does not reject the fetus. So the woman's body knows the trick that we need to know. They already know it. They got it. The keepers of the flame. They have all the stuff. And they have that secret too. And someday we're going to try to, someday somebody will unlock that one. I'm sure much brighter people than me have figured this out a long time ago and are working on it, trying to figure it out. But yeah, they may, they're working on machines to be able to do the same thing that dialysis does for kidney
combinations
to keep. But it's really tough with the liver because the liver does about 300 things. Your heart's just a pump. Your liver is the main organ in your body. It does everything.
Filtration system, a converter,
chemical factory, and it does so much stuff you can't believe it. And I didn't know. I thought it was a thing you had with onions and bacon. I didn't have a clue.
What do you have? Mr. Crosby, please. Don't cook that, you fool! Man.
But yeah, they're trying hard, and they're working on a lot of stuff, man. Artificial corneas.
Stem sorry, it's very hard to say. Stem cell therapy. Say it 20 times. Stem cell therapy. Stem cell therapy. And working on all of that, also combined with, like you said, some biosynthetic, combination.
Who knows? God, man, they said, interesting times. We certainly are.
They just made that chip that basically would allow the blind actually see shapes. It's basically,
saw that.
Yeah, that was, it's just now, and it's coming up.
See the blind guy walk up, take the thing off the wall.
Right.
He could tell.
He could tell the shape, basically.
Yeah, well, they're thinking about doing that to Stevie.
Serious?
Yeah. And God knows, you can't blame him for wanting to try. What's he got to lose? The thing is, that we're just scratching the surface of stuff. It's a fascinating way to look at it. But we're only just catching the vaguest glimpses of how the human mind works. We're just right out on the edge of it. We don't really comprehend how the human mind works. We don't know how the human body works. We don't know how. Hell, we haven't even connected up gravity with the rest of the electromagnetic spectrum. And we know it's an electromagnetic phenomenon. We don't have a general field theory. We don't have mass and energy connected really yet because we haven't figured out how gravity works.
Wait a minute, I'm floating. What the hell are you doing?
I'm saying that we're in interesting times.
David.
We're on the edge of so many breakthroughs in technology, so many breakthroughs in intelligence now. When we stop pushing electrons down a wire and start shoving photons down glass, there's going to be a leap in the computing power of our race that will be like going from handwriting to Gutenberg. I mean, it's big.
Well, I met these two guys at MIT who were talking about quantum computing and the idea of using the actual molecule itself.
And they can.
And the particles.
And they will.
Basically as a byte, and then it becomes infinite almost, just this side of an infinite memory.
They will. There's...
The problem with the quantum computer is it simultaneously can contain all information and crash. So it's like, I know I don't. I kind of, it's like Sybil 1000. That so far they're trying to get it to a...
Until some guy or woman figures it out. We're the insatiable monkey, man. We are out there going, what does this nut contain?
That's a great title for it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Insatiable Monkeys. Yeah. Your first time in the Insatiable Monkey. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the magic of Charles Darwin. I'm going to take right now. I got a couple of birds. I got a couple of lizards. Look right here. Will you examine the lizard? Will you examine the lizard, please? Normal iguana.
No tail. See?
Tail, no tail. And now let's see. This one's amphibious. Thank you, but wait, there's more. I'm going to take the same gene pool. I'm going to divide up the genes in it. There's right here. Gregor Mendel, line 1. Thank you for calling. We'll be right back with the Insatiable Monkeys. And the idea of opposable thumbs, which to me sounded like that old thing of, hey, I got your thumb. But no. Opposable thumbs, ladies and gentlemen, what allows us to actually have a mobile phone and a monkey to go, I can't get calls.
And it also lets you choke the chicken.
Yes.
But we won't get into that. We're not talking about that.
That's also part of being the Insatiable Monkey. That's what he went, hey, wait a minute, I could use tools. Spanking the Insatiable Monkey. That's the title of this interview, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Spanking the Insatiable Monkey.
Oh,
that's the name of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be spanking the Insatiable Monkey once again. Well, this is about as good a place as any to stop for a moment or so. Let's take a break. And we'll continue with David Crosby and the Insatiable Monkey next week. I'm still up here banging a few cherubs on the backside.